Hey guys, what is up? It's Dusty here, and welcome back to another episode of the Daily Crypto News. And you guys already know there's some crazy drama and news in the crypto space that needs to be covered today. Having said that, first of all, there's been a very interesting debate between the Bitcoin founder Craig Wright and David Schwartz, the CTO of Ripple and the co-creator of the XRP ledger. Now, specifically related to David Schwartz, a little while ago I asked him, what cryptos do you hold? And I want to tell you guys a little bit more about one specific crypto which he mentioned back then. We have to cover a little bit more about all the FUD regarding Binance and what's going on with that, to whether yeah, that happens sometimes. Together with, of course, the fact that the SEC and FTX, they're kind of in a strange little battle, plus some additional pieces that don't require too much time, like a Twitter getting hacked and like, well, the stablecoin bill that is coming up for the US, by the way. Having said that, guys, if you did not do it yet, make sure you press that like button. I try to provide crypto news updates every single day with the best quality that I personally can, hopefully informing you guys properly about what's going on in the crypto market, so you can hopefully make the best choices and ultimately, even though it's not financial advice, make the most amount of gains over longer periods of time while also staying involved and updated about the newest pieces of tech, because this stuff is pretty emerging and honestly is changing a whole lot. I mean, every single day that I look up this crypto stuff, a lot has changed already again. As we've already established, it's not really a too volatile of a market over the last couple of days. When taking a look at the entire rankings here, you can see there's not really many cryptos that are actually moving. Here you can see that XRP is up a significant 3%. This is kind of funny because earlier today I put over on Twitter that I'm opening up a pretty significant long XRP trade. A long here basically meaning I put some money towards the fact that XRP's price will continue to go up, and I'm doing this over on Bybit. A link for that is down below. It's a platform I usually use for this. The main reason there being, let's say I have a 3x or 1.5x or 7x long position open. This basically means if the XP price goes up 1%, if I have a 3x trade open, then I'm making 3 times the profit on that. And honestly, I do believe that over the next couple of weeks, the XP price will gradually keep increasing. And if it doesn't, I have a couple of hedge positions against that on Bitcoin, which I'll talk about a little bit more in depth in a different video. But yeah, people keep asking me, am I not bullish on Bitcoin and what's happening? Well, yes, I am, but I'm more bullish on a lot of altcoins, like for example, XRP. Even though I think Bitcoin would do extremely well over longer periods of time, I am more bullish on a couple of different altcoins. You have to understand that. Now, there's a debate going on Twitter between the XRP founder, so to speak, and the supposed, alleged, following his own labeling, Bitcoin founder, Craig Wright. Very interesting. So basically what was happening, right? It's Christmas. Everybody got those Christmas spirits, except for Mr. Craig Wright. You know, he had fire in his ass. He was trying to grill some people, and I guess all props to him for doing whatever he wants, right? He's basically been up on that role for a little while. Now, he said, the problem with any debate with anyone involved with XRP is that none of them can actually debate anything logically. David Schwartz should be able to provide logical answers, yet even the cult leader cannot do anything more than insults. If you discuss topics such as scale, the fact, for instance, that XRP promotes how it can do 1500 TPS, when in reality, it can do a sustained 100 TPS on a good day, and then you look at what is needed by the business and questions whether it delivers anything of use, XRP would need to be able to handle a sustained average rate of 688 TPS to process Swift daily. At peak, and this is the metric that matters, Swift can process up to 3200 TPS. In other words, to even be considered for use, the existing XRP system would need to conduct more than double its peak capability and over 30 times its current sustained rate. Even the sustained rate ends up with problems right now. However, what the interbank settlement system requires is not a daily batch aggregation of transactions, but something that is far quicker. To replace Swift will require a system that does far more than Swift. The 12,000 or so members will not move otherwise. And while Ripple and XRP generally like to say how they can handle the thousands of transactions per second, and thus this is the throughput of Visa, that it's the throughput of Visa at the lowest and theoretical limit to Ripple. These are dishonest marketing games, and the simple way of doing truth is to demonstrate the ability of handling not only the main system, but others that may come on board. That itself is simple. For instance, if you wish to end all the base traffic of banks in Swift, it will require a network capable of handling 200,000 to 250,000 transactions per second continuously, not peak, but continuously. Only one blockchain has ever achieved this ability to get even close to that, and in 2023, we will be extending the capabilities of 100,000 transactions per second into over 1 million transactions per second with Bitcoin. And that's where you kind of start to scratch your head. Because, okay, fair enough. He's trying to say XRP is not that fast, or potentially not that scalable. But if something's not that fast and not that scalable, it's the traditional Bitcoin. I guess he's referring to Lightning Network, but traditional Bitcoin, it ain't fast, all right? It ain't that good. The reason that nobody in XRP debates anything and that they resort to genetic fallacies and ad hominem is very simple. David Schwartz couldn't achieve 100,000 transactions per second in his wildest dreams on any platform that he could ever think of designing, let alone 1 million. So again, this man chose fire. It is an interesting debate. And David Schwartz had one of the coolest responses late this morning. Craig, nobody was discussing topics such as scale. You're angry that I pointed out that you were completely wrong about a completely different issue. So you changed the topic to scale to deflect from the fact that you were caught spouting nonsense. Here's his response to my tweet. You can see that this was not a conversation about how XRP scales at all, and that he immediately attempted to back up his nonsensical claims with an irrelevant ad hominem. And that is because if you take a little step back, on the 24th of December, so basically a day and a half ago, Craig Wright said, Bitcoin cannot ever be adopted by institutional investors until the system is able to be recovered under a legal court order. David Schwartz replied saying, this is so dumb for so many reasons. Why are institutional investors the target market for peer-to-peer digital cash? Which is a very valid point. Is that the point of Bitcoin? Why would he care about that? Why would that be a good thing? And which jurisdiction should have their court orders respected? Yeah, and obviously David Schwartz was a little bit controversial with this as, well, people were not, I should add specifically Bitcoin SV type of people, were not so happy. No, I'd say potentially Bitcoin Cash people as well, just the Bitcoin community was not so happy with his comments. For example, Bitcoin SV man Kelvin Ayer said, well, no, this is dumb. Watch and learn if this is your real opinion. If you are just sprouting nonsense, conflicted nonsense to pump your dysfunctional tech, history will know this also. And again, the fun thing about this is just the whole discussion was never really about XRP. I don't see XRP being mentioned anywhere at all, except for the fact that he talks about some regulatory parts and I guess perspective parts of what exactly is your blockchain focused on. But you can see how funny it is that whenever they're just trying to have a discussion about something which, well, that David Schwartz in this case, or I guess an XRP believer sort of quickly call it, does not agree with, regardless or irregardless of XRP at all, they have to reflect back to, okay, let's ignore whatever we were discussing and focus on the fact that what you're doing is garbage. That's basically what's happening every single discussion. And I find this so interesting. Whenever we talk about XRP, people don't like to talk about XRP, about what it can achieve, what it can do, yada, yada, you know. They like to look at exactly what it cannot do, what it's garbage at, and why it's just so garbage. Even if the discussion was just about Bitcoin, we're just talking about Bitcoin, it's like, hey, I noticed Bitcoin can't do, but XRP cannot do that, but XRP, I'm like, what, take it easy. Why do you have to bring that up? Why are we talking about this all of a sudden? It's such an interesting little piece. I honestly think from that perspective, XRP is very much undervalued, as people are giving it way more shit than it deserves. It's honestly a lot better than many people make it out to be, and I think that if you ever have a good discussion with somebody about this prospects of why XRP is good, many people actually agree with you. They come up to me with this, oh, but it's centralized garbage. It's just because people are unwilling to learn, unwilling to know, is my own opinion about the matter. And you can be unhappy with the crazy distribution of coins, and sure, that's fine. But then make sure that that's your statement. Hey, Ripple holds too much XRP, that reason I don't like it. That's fair, to each their own. Potentially for that same reason, people might not want to hold Bitcoin because, well, Satoshi has 1.1 million. And the moment that he starts moving, the entire market will crash significantly. Maybe that's that's a valid argument. I don't agree with it, but it's a valid argument, I think. Now, as I said before, David Schwartz, co-founder of XRP, I asked him about a year ago, I think, what cryptos do you hold? One of them was Crypterium. Crypterium is a coin that I bought in the ICO. Actually, there were some problems getting my coins, but I'm talking to the founder now. Well, a friend of mine actually is talking to the founder for me to get my coins back because apparently, and this came in my inbox time and time again, and I ignored it because I thought it could look kind of dumb because that's usually how I go about these things. But then my good friend, his name is Thomas Crollo, big YouTuber, big funny guy on Instagram. Not sure if you guys know him. Very good trader. He basically came up to me in the DM and said, Dusty, check this out and trust me on this one. Check this out and tell your people about it. I'm like, because I don't like to do that. But I then found out this is what Crypterium basically transitioned over to. They made a new platform called choice.com. And they basically got themselves the new concept between an NFT and between a, I guess, token for that matter, a new NTO. Long story short, I'm going to be buying this one. Right now, they're just doing a sale of sorts. And again, let's reiterate a couple of different things right here. I have a pretty large VC firm. My main subject of doing every single day is looking for new projects to invest into, and I invest very significant amounts of money, and I do that as often as I possibly can to, in turn, make the most amount of money as well. So if I give you guys an opportunity like this, think about it like this. I know for a fact, if I take, let's say, 50 projects, quite a lot of them will fail. Let's say 30 of them will fail. But the 20 that do succeed will make me so much more money. And this is how last year, we've had a couple of different times, guys, where we turned, I think, $1,500 into like $400,000. But on many of the occasions, we turned $10,000 into $200,000 and more things of that nature. But it's really crazy when people start to understand there have been multi-million-dollar days from relatively small investments because you just keep trying, and you will lose some. It's just the hard nature of life. But that's why when I tell people, okay, I'm just going to put $100,000 into this, for example, and it then fails, people look at me and think, wow, you dumbass. And I'm like, well, no, it's strategy. I have to keep on buying, I have to keep putting more money into these different projects. And it just is relative to your bankroll. If you have a $10,000 bankroll, don't put the whole $10,000 into one project. Put, let's say, for example, $500. I'm not trying to make this financial advice, but it's kind of almost going that way. Just let me say it differently. Be proper with your risk management, but dare to do more than just the traditional, oh, I just made $10, let me hoard that and save it. I personally think that's not the way to get extremely rich. Jeff Bezos, for example, was sitting on $20 million. Elon Musk was sitting on $150 million. If they just quit at that point, you would have had $150 million, but they wouldn't have the $100 billion, $200 billion that they have right now. Point being, I personally think whenever I show you guys something, it's worth it to look into it, and potentially, if that is what you've decided to do, follow me and also invest into these things. Again, I'll just leave a link down below. See for yourself what you're doing. I'm putting a significant amount of money into it. And it's partially also because one of my good friends who also has a pretty big VC firm now, again, Thomas Colo, very well-known YouTube trader as well, is also putting a very significant chunk into it and has spoken with the founder and recommended it to me. So I'll also basically try my luck trusting his word. Again, by no means am I guaranteeing that this is going to pop off. I'm giving you guys different opportunities to potentially do really well for yourself. And again, to get back to the point, make sure that you don't do this just once. Keep doing this whenever I show you. I want to be really careful by saying that. Always do your own due diligence. Please just look into it. If it's not something for you, skip it. But I would personally recommend, as a personal recommendation, not financial advice, to keep looking for new opportunities and keep trying, keep buying, keep trying, keep buying. I personally think if you keep doing this in the crypto space, we're so early, you're going to become a millionaire very, very quickly because you only need to be right once if you keep doing $10,000, for example, and boom, you've got yourself $4 million. It can happen in the like this. You'd be surprised if the bull market comes back, how many people will turn $10,000 into $1 million in a couple days. It's going to be really surprising, but you'll see. Remember all those gems that we talked about? A lot of them were very hard to buy. That's the big problem with getting these crazy returns, that in a bull market, they don't need you. They don't want you. You're going to have to kind of wiggle your way in. In a bear market, the risk is a little bit higher, but there's also more opportunities. Yeah, point being, I'm just buying $100,000 worth. If I'm going to be able to do that, not sure if there's actually a maximum on these things, but I like to always put $100,000 in every single new opportunity. As far as I know, it's about $150 a piece. And again, you guys can't properly see it, but you can see it kind of here, right? On the right. By buying it now, we get a very significant discount. So if all just comes to market, we'll make a 6x at least on our investment pretty easily. But I think there's a good probability there's going to be way much more money. But yeah, I think it might actually already be sold out in just a very, very short amount of time. So just check it out quickly, guys. I might not even be able to put in $100,000 anymore because their cap might be 21.250 million and they're 20.970. But yeah, just when I say it, just check it out. And then to get quickly back onto the topic. Man, regarding Binance, because I've already talked for way too long, the FUD, don't trust it too much. There's people trying to take Binance down. It's really not as bad as it might seem. We'll cover it a little bit more in depth later as we cover the whole story of what CZ has said. But the point being, they're very much trusted by the major players in the industry, and there's nothing really showcasing that they're in any sort of trouble at all. Regulatory-wise, money-backing-wise, the biggest scare that people have is just some sort of new bill coming into place, making sure that Binance has to just uncover all their deepest secrets or so. But even then, I don't think they'd be really in a lot of trouble because worst case, everybody pulls out, they'll still have all the money that they owe us, so to speak. So I have all my money still that was left there on Binance, and I'm going to keep it there in the same sense that I have all the money that I had on there before still on Bybit. Little side note is you should always stay safe. Again, people's Twitters are getting hacked left and right, and the best way to prevent that is to potentially have some two-factor authentication. But sometimes they steal Twitters via some internal system or so. Things got to be more difficult now that Elon Musk is the head. But apparently, Gillian Keegan's Twitter account was seen replying to tweets and sharing a link from crypto stuff. Yeah, it's the sad reality of social media. Remember, guys, if you ever think I'm messaging you to get some sort of investment out of you, please just know it's a faker. I will never DM you. If there's ever something, I will go on YouTube or Twitter and tell you to text me to make sure that we can never have this trouble where you think, oh, he sent me a DM. No, never DM you. It is always going to be a scammer. If it is going to be me, it's very verifiable. But always just, if you have any doubts, just text me over on Twitter. Hey, is this you? And you'll see, because I get this message a couple times a day, I will not respond on Twitter most likely, or I'll say, no, it's not me. And then you'll have your answer. Just say, hey, Text me back on Twitter then if this is you, and they won't be able to do that, obviously. But yeah, that was it for today's video, guys. Hopefully you all enjoyed it. Make sure you check out those chubbies. Is it gonna work out? Well, I hope so. But even if it doesn't, we gotta try. And again, it's been a personal recommendation from one of my friends, so I'm gonna give it a good little look. But I have to admit as well, sometimes I just invest blind. I have land in different countries around the world that I just bought like this, and it's kind of funny. But yeah, that's what you kind of get as you're risking more and more money to make more and more money. And I guess for some people like Sam Bankman-Fried, it went wrong. But if you're smart about it, this is the biggest way or best way to make crazy amounts of capital. So just check it out for yourself. I'll see you guys again in another one. There'll be a link for this whole stuff down below. Check it out. I'll see you later in another crypto video.